All right, we are live on YouTube, and tonight we're going to be discussing when you reach your breaking point, where do you go from there? So stick around and find out exactly what I'm talking about. All of that and much, much more is coming right. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. And if this is your first time here, and most importantly, you are open to suggestions and change, please consider subscribing and then banging that bell. And after you bang that bell, when that pop-up box pops up, make sure you select all notifications, because that way you won't miss a single thing. You will not miss anything, and I mean anything at all when it comes to getting a better grip on your life. That is absolutely correct. You won't miss a single beat when it comes to learning the most valuable life principles that will allow you to accomplish whatever it is that your heart desires. That is what I am here to help each and every one of you do. Accomplish whatever you want to accomplish. All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. Let me make sure that the notification has gone out. It looks like it has. And let me check out the back end in YouTube Studio and make sure that we are rolling okay. And it looks like we are. We got a great stream status. Stream health is great. And it is all good. Before I get to the chat here in a second and welcome a few of my moderators here, I want to once again pay a special props to this channel sponsor, my good friend Troy Brewer, who is the CEO, founder, and owner of the Discover Community Network. For all of your product and service needs from the most trusted professionals in the industry, please consider visiting www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. One more time, that's www.discovercommunitynetwork.com. You can also visit a subsidiary of the Discover Community Network known as the DCN Internet Radio Network. DCN is short, or the acronym for Discover Community Network. And on the DCN Internet Radio Network website, you're going to see a bunch of talk and music internet radio stations. One of those talk or music stations is more than likely going to suit your talk or music genre needs. So if you like to listen to talk radio or music throughout the course of your days, please consider visiting www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. One more time, that's www.dcninternetradionetwork.com. Both those links are below the description, about a third of the way down. And if you go to any of those websites, you can also find out how to connect with Troy if you choose to do that. And you email him to introduce yourself. Please do not forget to mention, absolutely do not forget to mention that Coach Eli sends you with lots and lots of love. Because Coach Eli has enough love in his heart, in his head and heart, for each and every one of you. Plenty of love to give. I've got so much love, man. I've got so much love, man. I'll tell you. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And before I get to the chat, also, if you're new here for the first time or you haven't been here in a while and you are wondering why you can't chat in the chat, my chats are members-only chats now. You either need to be a moderator, a channel member, or you can send a super chat or super sticker. If you want to find out how to become a member, just look in the chat. Nightbot is sharing the message there. All future streams will allow members to chat. So we'll only allow members to chat, which is what I'm trying to say. And then click on that link and you can find out how to become a member. I think most people by now understand how the members only stuff works out here on YouTube. You can still enjoy the live streams publicly. You just cannot chat unless you're a member, moderator, or you send a super chat or a super sticker. One of the reasons why I did that, just to mention once again, because I haven't mentioned it in a while, is because I really want to truly focus on chatting with the people in the chat that value this message. And from what I've learned as an entrepreneur, the people that truly value your message are either going to be collaborators, such as moderators, and they deserve to get free access, or people besides that value your message will not have an issue, throwing a little money your way to show their support. Sharing your support is one thing. Showing your support is something else. Maybe I'll do a stream or a video on that coming soon. All right. Welcome to the show, everyone. Welcome to the show. Tonight's show is not going to be too terribly long. We're going to be discussing the topic, when you reach your breaking point, where do you go from there? One more time. When you reach your breaking point, where do you go from there? And love my thumbnail tonight. Love my thumbnail. My thumbnail on it says, I'm at my breaking point, ? I'm at my breaking point, ? Did that get you to click? Hey, I'm going to share stories here with you tonight about some situations where I reached my breaking point and how I handled it. I didn't always handle it properly the first time around, but I learned my lesson or lessons from making those mistakes initially on how to not handle these situations to the point of where I know how to handle these situations, as best as possible nowadays. I was going to say perfectly, but nobody's perfect. As best as possible, because even if you have the right intentions to do the right thing, sometimes as a human, you're going to make a mistake. But that's okay. You make a mistake, you learn from it, you do it better the next time, and you try to not make that same mistake. And you move forward, right? That's the way it goes. So with that being said, let me say hello to a few people in the chat. We have Firewolf Studios in the house. Welcome, Firewolf Studios. I noticed you tried to call me on Hangouts earlier. I was busy actually out at the park. I went to Red Morton Park and shot my next Walking with Purpose video in 4K at 60 frames per second. And that will be released in the next day or two. It's only I think it's like an 18 or 20 minute video. It shouldn't take as long to render and, process through the YouTube system as the other video, which I released yesterday, the first Walking with Purpose in 4K at 60 frames per second. I released that video at 6 a.m. Eastern, 3 a.m. Pacific earlier today. If you haven't seen that, check that out. It is the latest video on my channel before this live stream here. And it's about overcoming crossroads, how to handle crossroads you encounter in life. And you will love it. I did have a few very minor sound issues in that video, very, very minor. So I made a few tweaks when I recorded the video I did earlier today, which was from Red Morton Park. And I played back that video in its entirety, listened closely to the audio, and there were no glitches. It looks like I resolved the issue. So the Walking with Purpose 4K videos at 60 frames per second from this point on should have flawless video and flawless audio. And I'm just very impressed. I love the Rode Video Mic Me L. You have the Video Mic Me with the 3.5 millimeter jack, because you have an Android that still has a 3.5 millimeter jack port. I have the iPhone, so I have the Lightning port version. And I have to tell you, the audio quality. Did you get a chance to view any of the of that Walking with Purpose video, 4K at 60 frames per second? If so, what do you think about the audio and video quality? With the exception of a few dropouts, which I've figured out what the issue was, and it won't happen again. At least I hope not. What were your thoughts about that? So yeah, the next Walking with Purpose video will be released in about a day or two. It all depends how quickly I can, process it, render it, and upload it to YouTube, and how long it takes for YouTube to process it. And it's going to be a video on, are first impressions important, or are first impressions still important in the modern world? And put my own spin on it based on my own personal experiences regarding what I feel works in the modern world when getting to know people compared to how it used to be back in the day. So look for that video coming to this channel in the next day or two. I'm going to try to get 2 to 3 Walking with Purpose videos out each week. Some will be, or most will be, around 15 to 20 to 30 minutes. Some may be an hour, hour and a half. It just all depends on what makes sense and where I'm at. If I'm at a beautiful place that has just incredible beauty along the whole way of my walk, then it'll be a longer video. But it just all depends. So stay tuned and you'll see what you'll get. You're going to get a lot of great content here that is not only going to be aesthetically pleasing to the eye and the ears from a video and audio standpoint, but I'm going to be sharing my best life principles with you folks that, I learned and have helped me, better my life than it used to be. I'm not saying my life wasn't that great when I was young, but I was inexperienced. I got the experience. I made the mistakes. I learned from those mistakes. And then, you know what? I don't make as many mistakes nowadays because of, learning from my past. I still do make mistakes. I'm a human being. Someone that's as intuitive and has learned as much as me is still capable of making mistakes. And we just make fewer mistakes, right? So that's the best way to look at it. Mutt Nuts World says, hey, Eli and everyone. Hello, Mutt. How are you? Let's see here. Lewis Fuller. Mutt Nuts World says, first Lewis Fuller. Good evening to you, host. Good evening, Lewis. Welcome to the show, bro. Glad to have you here. How's your night going, man? How did your day go? Mutt Nuts World. I love Rode mics. Me too. I love the Rode mic because it's a very reasonably priced mic. Your mic with the 3.5 millimeter jack is I believe it's $50, and mine with the Lightning port is $80. I don't know why they charged a little more for the Lightning port version. I think it's because they have to get it MiFi certified. MiFi stands for Made for iPhone, and I think Apple wants a cut out of anyone that, creates Lightning products in order to make them MiFi compatible. So I think that's the reason why. I mean, you pay a premium for Apple stuff, but I got to tell you, the iPhone, in my opinion, is the absolute best smartphone you can get, especially if you get the top of the line, the Pro Max. Like I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max with 512 gigs of storage space, 6 gigs of RAM, the A14 Bionic processor, the OLED display. The cameras are just amazing on it. You'll see, if you haven't seen my Walking with Purpose video, how well the low light compensation and the autofocus and auto exposure works as I'm walking on that trail. You're going to see. You let me know. Let's see here. I am watching your ads in full. Well, thank you, Lewis. That means I have not been demonetized on this stream yet. My stream yesterday did not get demonetized. I think I removed a hashtag from my description, Coach Eli Clan. I think the YouTube artificial intelligence thinks that when I put Coach Eli Clan, it means it must assume it's something really bad. So I removed that before I did my stream yesterday, and it never got demonetized. Throughout the whole stream, it's still monetized. I didn't have to submit that for manual review, but before that, I had to submit almost every single, stream for manual review, which would get overturned. But then you lose all the ad revenue from the people that are watching you live. So it'll be interesting to see what happens after this stream. But I guess you got, how many of you, did you, Mutt, Lewis, and Firewolf Studios, did you get an ad when you first came on this stream? Let me know. Mutt Nuts World, not yet, been busy, going to watch it later. Oh, you're going to love the quality, Mutt. Let me know what your thoughts are, besides a few audio dropouts. I did put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video to make people aware of that, but just making you aware here as well. Lewis Fuller, I am here now. Welcome again, Lewis, Mutt Nuts World. I'm going to start uh, either this weekend or next week to going back to doing 1 or 2 live streams a day. Well, that's great, Mutt. That's the way to grow. The more you can produce, the better. Just don't burn yourself out. Pace yourself and take breaks when you need them. Lewis Fuller again says hi and good. Mutt Nuts World, it is very lightweight and easy to handle. Absolutely. You're talking about the Rode Video Mic Me and the Video Mic Me L, which is the Apple Lightning Port version. Mutt Nuts World, yeah, I got an ad. All right. Great. Fantastic. All right, let's get to the show here. Here's how tonight's going to go. It's not going to be too terribly long of a show. I probably won't even take a break. Once again, tonight, we are discussing when you reach your breaking point, where do you go from there? One more time. When you reach your breaking point, where do you go from there? You know, in life, you're going to encounter many times where you're going to reach a breaking point. Typically, you reach your breaking point when you're dealing with other people. Whether it's let's try again. Whether it is a significant other, let's get the words out properly, Eli. Whether it's a significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whether it's a friend, whether it's a family member, whether it is a business partner, you know, whether it is, you know, a coworker in the workforce, whatever, right? Whenever you're dealing with other people, sometimes what those people do, you know, it may not work for you. And if you're invested into doing something with them at a business or personal level and you're emotionally invested, but they change the way they are, it's going to start to bother you. And if that person doesn't, you know, get back on track, it may lead you to the point of where you reach your breaking point. And you try to tolerate it because you're working on a project with this person. Maybe you're married to them. Maybe you're dating them. You know, you're invested in something with them. You put a lot of time into something with them. And you just don't want to automatically eliminate them because that would ruin all the hard work that you two, you know, did together. And so, you know, it starts to build up until the point of where it starts to affect you so much to the point of where, you know, you're having a hard time sleeping at night. It's always on your mind. Your mind's clouded. You know, it's affecting you from getting other things done. It's just affecting your everyday life, right? And then you reach that breaking point. You reach that breaking point where you've had enough. I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. I've got to tell this person how I feel, right? So when you reach that breaking point, what should you do? What is the next step to do? Because what you feel like doing is wringing that person's neck, right? You feel like giving them a piece of your mind. And I've been guilty of doing that a time or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 before. We all have, right? But what happens when you reach that breaking point and then you know, approach that person, you confront that person, which is a better word, and then you start yelling at them and giving them a piece of your mind, right? It starts to make them behave even more poorly than they're already behaving. Maybe they start yelling back at you. Now you've got a fight going on, right? Now you just made the situation worse than it already was, right? So what is the right way to handle that? In my opinion, you confront the person and say, hey, Bob, hey, Sally, hey, Mary, hey, Jack, can we talk about something? It's involving our business venture. And I just need to be honest with you. This has been, you know, kind of bugging me for a little while. And I, you know, tried to, you know, kind of, you know, let things slide for a little bit to see if things would change, but it's just not changing. So I have to make you aware. I'm really not feeling, you know, this business, you know, partnership or relationship anymore. Well, why is that? You know, Well, I honestly just, don't feel like you're taking my ideas into consideration. You're not running things by me. And hey, I'm not here to argue you, and I'm not here to complain. I'm just here to say I think we should just part ways. Now at that point, you're going to put it into their hands, and they're going to respond one of the few ways. Well, hey, Eli, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm glad you told me. I'm willing to work through whatever it is that's bugging you so we can keep this going because we're a great team together. Now, if they handle it that way because you handled it maturely, then you can try to work through it. And if you come to, an agreement where you can keep, working together and moving forward with no more issues, then problem solved, right? But what if you're dealing with someone that doesn't handle it that way, and then they come at you and they start to yell at you? Oh, come on, dude. I'm working my butt off, man, and you're sitting here attacking me and criticizing me. I put in so much work. If they come back at you in that way, then in essence, you now have even more proof that the way you were feeling, about this business relationship, for example, that got you to reach your breaking point. You have your answer right there. At that point, in that situation, I would say, well, man, I wasn't here to argue you. I'm not here to upset you. I think you're overreacting. I'm trying to handle this maturely and professionally. But if you're not willing to handle it that way, I think we need to part ways. I'm going to wish you the best. And then you just turn, you walk away, and you're done. Now, if you have a contract or something, you have to settle that first, But if not, and you can just walk away, then just walk away. That's the simple thing to do. Because that person's overreacting, towards you over something that probably doesn't even involve you. Maybe something else in their life is bothering them and they're letting it affect your business relationship. When you're working with people, let's say at a business level, you want to work with people that are in a good place emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and they're just a happy person. Okay. If somebody is going through a lot, that may not be the right time to work with that particular person. You have to learn to identify that and, really get to know people before you invest into doing anything with them, whether it's business related or personal related. The same thing can happen in a relationship or a marriage. Sometimes you're going to reach your breaking point, because, your other half is not cutting it, or they become complacent. They become lazy. They stop doing the things that attracted you to them when you first met them because they got so comfortable that, they started becoming lazy and complacent. At that point, you got to have that conversation with them. And you know what? If they overreact, then you may have to say, hey, this is not going to work out, and walk away. Or they might say, I'm really sorry, babe. I've just been going through a lot. I didn't want to really bother you with it, but you're right. I'm gonna go back to the way I was. I've been going through some things, and I just didn't want to bother you with them, and I didn't realize how much it was affecting you. I didn't even realize. I really appreciate you bringing this to my attention. So that's the right way to handle it, and then your other half will be understanding, and then you just work through it, right? But if if you would have handled it differently and attacked your other half, they would have probably left you. That's just the way it goes. When you reach your breaking point, there's a right and a wrong way to handle things. All right, let me check out the chat here real quick. We are at 25 minutes. Okay. I wasn't going to take a break, but I am going to take a quick break, and I'm going to do it early right now because I do want to get a little more coffee. and I haven't eaten yet, so I already have to use the restroom real quick, and I want to be in tip-top shape to go through a quick blog I'm going to be going through tonight. It'll only take about maybe 20 or 30 minutes to go through, so when I get back, we're only going to be on another 20 or 30 more minutes. I'm going to be dissecting and sharing my thoughts on another blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today. And the article is titled, What to Do When You Reach a Breaking Point. What to Do When You Reach a Breaking Point by Gustavo Rossetti, who runs the company The Adaptive Mind. So, before I get to that, like I said, let me just start queuing up some wonderful royalty-free YouTube music. Let's see here. Let me see. Let me see. And we just need one more. All right. We're all set to go. I'm going to step away for a 5 to 7 or 8 minute break. Like I said, when we return, we're going to get to the blog, what to do when you reach a breaking point. So stick around. We'll be right back. feel it with me, okay? I want you to feel it with me. I want you to feel real good. If you're tired of the hate, if you're tired of feeling down, if you're tired of drama, if you're tired of all the negativity, I want you to feel it with me and just get rid of all that negativity and hate. Get rid of all of it. It's over. It's done. It's not necessary at all. Just feel it with me, okay? Mutt will say welcome back in a second. There she is. There she goes. Oh, yeah. Want you all to feel real good. This is what this channel's all about, feeling good, all right? All right. Yeah. Yeah. Clap with me. Clap, clap, clap with me. Clap with me. Clap, 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 clap with me. Feel it. Feel it. Shake it up. Let those endorphins flow. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube. It is 10:16 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:16 p.m. Pacific Time here in my neck of the woods. I'm in the beautiful, glorious, amazing San Francisco Bay Area, Northern California. Yeah, Redwood City to be exact. Climate best by government test. I love it. I got a picture of the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge here, and it's a little bit foggy because it's that time of year, so I figured that this picture here would make perfect sense, right? Isn't that beautiful, Mutt? Do you like that? You like the background tonight, Mutt? Mutt, are you pleased with my choices of backgrounds usually? You know I take constructive feedback very well, right? Constructive feedback I take very well. Attacking, no. We're not about attacking here. We're about constructive feedback, constructive criticism. There is a difference. Folks, and I gotta tell you, listen, like I mentioned when I just came back here from the break, if you're tired of the hate, if you're tired of the negativity, if you're tired of feeling down, if you're tired of things just not going the way you want them to go in your life, please come join us over here on the A Grip on Life channel. To anyone out here that's already a part of this channel, please do me a favor and spread the love. I want to help as many people as possible get out of the rut they're stuck in and start feeling better about themselves. Please like, share, subscribe, talk about it, folks, because I don't know about you. But again, I'm just so tired of all of these drama channels out here on YouTube. I'm not just talking about that drama group I used to be a part of. I'm talking about drama in general. All these people just putting out all this stupid type of content, and lots of people tuning in to view that. It's really sad to me, and it's really pathetic that people would rather tune into stuff like that than to tune into something that's going to make them feel better and actually get them ahead in life, right? I don't get it. But that's okay. We're going to keep moving forward here, and we're going to keep looking for those people that truly want to make a change in their lives for the better and accomplish whatever it is that their heart desires. All right, so Mutnuts World says, welcome back. She says, wow, love it. And yes, I love the backgrounds you pick. Absolutely. I love the Bay Area. I love where I live. I love it. I mean, I can't say that enough. And you should love where you live as well. I'm sorry. Give me a second. My microphone wire is a little bit jammed in the wrong area there. Okay. I think we're good now. Mutt says, wow, it's cold here, 33. Be right back. Making some hot cocoa. Well, let me check out the temperature right now in Redwood City. In Redwood City, it is 52 degrees, so it's not that bad. That's still pretty cold for us, but it definitely is not 33 degrees. All right, folks, tonight we are discussing when you reach your breaking point, where do you go from there? When you reach your breaking point, where do you go from there? If you missed the first part of the show, go back and check out the replay. I shared a few examples of, how to handle situations when dealing with people and they push you to that breaking point. There's a right and a wrong way to handle it. So go back and check out the replay, and you'll learn some great tips that will make a difference in the future connections you make with people. We need people in our lives for everything, folks. So that's part of what I do here. I help people better connect and understand each other. I also teach people that you should get to know, like, and trust people before you invest into anything too deep with them. Whether it's a relationship or a business partnership, you've got to get to know, like, and trust people. You just don't want to just jump right into something, because we've all done that before, and we know what happens for the most part usually when you jump into something without getting to know someone. You get burned, right? And I'm here to do my very best to help you folks, from not getting burned or by not getting burned. That's what I do. That's what I'm here for. So let's go ahead and switch on over to the browser source. And why is it doing that again? Again, there it goes. I don't understand why it just won't pull up like right away. Anyway, I got to figure out this new version of OBS here, but it's there now. Let's get right to it. Today, we're going to be see, I'm all over the place today. I'm all over the place. I can't get the words out. I'm too excited. I'm too happy. I'm filled with too much love and positivity to the point of where I can't even get the words out. So let's try that again. Today, we're going to be dissecting a blog from my favorite blog site, Psychology Today. And this blog was written by Gustavo Rossetti. And he, runs a company called The Adaptive Mind. And I'll share the link in the description. I'll add it at the end of the stream so you can go back on the replay and reference this blog and look up Gustavo if you'd like to learn more about him. But the title is called "What to Do When You Reach a Breaking Point." One more time: what to do when you reach a breaking point. It is not what happens to us, but what we do with it that matters. That is extremely profound. One more time. It is not what happens to us, but what we do with it, or in my opinion, or the way I would say it, how we handle it, is what matters. This was written very recently, earlier on this year, a few months ago, June 30th, 2020. So it is very, very new and relevant. So let's get right to it. Give me a second to have a sip of my Java. All right. How many times have you thought or said to yourself, I can't take this any longer? That happens quite often. In my opinion, it's going to happen all the time, because every individual human being is different. And in my opinion, and it should be a biological fact, that in order to, work with somebody on something like a project or a business deal, or to be able to have a successful dating relationship with someone, both sides have to show up ready, and they have to be in the right place mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. All four of those things go hand in hand: mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Okay? And in many cases, from what I've noticed, I've always been ready to work with people in the business world, or date someone, for example, that I really thought was a decent person. But as I started to communicate with certain people, I started to realize that they may not be ready or in the right place. And in my opinion, you can figure that out pretty quickly, over a 1 hour meeting in person or a 1 hour phone conversation and ask a lot of questions and see how open these people are to opening your questions. Someone that is in a good place mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically is going to have no issues answering any questions you ask. They're even going to go as far and say, I'm an open book. Feel free to ask me anything. I got nothing to hide. I really, want to see where this can go, right? Ideally, that's the type of person you want to invest your time in, but that doesn't always happen, right? So yeah, sometimes you, are getting to know someone and they pass your test and they come off like they're ready. Some people can play it off for a while and fool you, right? But then a month or two down the road, they flip the switch on you, right? Or you start spending more time with them and they can no longer put up that front anymore. They start being who they really are. Then you see that and it's not what you wanted. It's not who you thought they were, and it's not who they really are, right? So then it starts to build up, and then you're like, I can't take this any longer in your head, right? Well, I mentioned at the beginning of this stream how to handle that, but let's see where the blog goes regarding this. We all face a breaking point from time to time. Successful people do too, absolutely, all the freaking time. It's normal. It's totally normal for it to happen. But it's how you handle it afterwards when you reach that breaking point, which makes all the difference. No one is immune to continuous stress or anxiety. Oh, you start bringing that into my life in a relationship or a business partnership, and I'm out. Peace out. You'll lose me very quickly. And it'll be very hard to get me back if you even try to get me back after you bring stress and anxiety or drama into my life. However, learning how to overcome a breaking point is crucial to your success. Let me repeat that one more time. However, learning how to overcome a breaking point is crucial to your success. And again, I mentioned a lot of how I would handle these situations at the beginning of this stream. So if you're just tuning in, make sure you go back and check out the replay. Breaking points test us. And with courage and resilience, we can turn them into defining moments for the better. One more time, breaking points test us. And with courage and resilience, we can turn them into defining moments for the better. Again, it's how you handle it. If you're getting to know someone for a relationship, dating, marriage, business, friendship, whatever it is. It can even happen with family as well. Okay? If somebody pushes you to your breaking point and you feel like you're going to explode, step away, step back. If they're making you feel that way, say, I need a little time to think about what you just said. Let me give you a call tomorrow. Let's hang out tomorrow and we can talk about it. Well, I need to know my answer. I need to know the answer right now. Well, I'm not ready to give you an answer right now. I can't do that. I really would appreciate it if you can respect my wishes that I need a day, right? And if they don't want to give you a day, at that point you have to say, hey, well, then we need to part ways. Or if they give you a day, then step back, release all of those thoughts of anger, and think clearly, regarding what the best way is to handle this professionally and maturely. You come back the next day and you say, hey, let me be honest with you. I've been thinking about this for the last day. I didn't want to talk to you last night because I didn't want to yell at you. I want to handle this maturely and professionally. I've been a little disappointed, or quite disappointed, with how you've been doing this in our business partnership, relationship, whatever. And let me know if you're open to hearing me share what's bugging me, because, to be honest with you, with no disrespect, this is going to depend on whether I continue to move forward with you or not on this project, relationship, whatever it is, right? And then you see how they react. If they react maturely and they, are being understanding and are working with you to resolve the issue, then you keep moving forward. If not, then you say, well, it's just not going to work for me. And then you just walk away. And if they get angry, they get angry. Let them go get angry on their own. You don't need to be there and watch them get angry. Just, they showed you their cards. Once they show you the cards of, negativity and they're not willing to work through the issue, then you walk away and then you go and find someone else to work with, right? That's it. Check out the chat real quick. Bud says she's back. Breaking points don't happen overnight. They don't. They take time to build up. You might start feeling like something's going the wrong way, but initially you have to give the other person the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had a bad day. Maybe something else is affecting them and they're working to get that resolved. So give them a little time. So yeah, they don't happen overnight. Each man has a breaking point, and woman too. Let's throw in women as well, because, I love men and women equally. No matter how strong his or her spirit, somewhere deep inside him or her, there is a flaw that only the fickle cruelty of fate can find. We all have flaws. Nobody's perfect. I embrace my flaws. I admit my flaws. I have nothing to hide. Part of being a good, strong, normal, reasonable person is coming out and saying, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect, but I do my best every day. I do my best every day to do what's right, not only for myself, but the people that surround me. You have that attitude, you're going to have the best possible life possible. You're going to get the best possible results that you can over the course of time. That's a quote by David Jamel. Everyone has a breaking point. Denying it can be dangerous. Yeah, it can also build up and get you to explode like a volcano down the road. You can't deny stuff like that. I used to deny stuff like that in my younger days, and let me tell you, it builds up, and then you blow up like the Mount St. Helens volcano. And then people are going to be like, what's going on with that lunatic? And you may not actually be a lunatic, but if you come off like one, then people are going to think you are. And then you're going to repel them, right? They're going to be afraid to be around you. The earlier you recognize the signs, the earlier you can do something about it. Right. So part of what I do here as a coach is I help people become more intuitive and more in tune with themselves and around other people. And if you can learn to identify human behavior, you're going to be able to get a better feeling of who's right to, be a part of your life or not regarding any aspect of life that you need people in, whether it's, like I said, dating relationships, whether it's business partnerships, etc., friendships, family, whatever. So yeah, the earlier you recognize the signs, the earlier you can do something about it, the less time you waste, right? Who wants to have their time wasted, right? One of my mottos is this: I don't waste other people's time. Why? Because I don't want my time wasted. And if I wasted other people's time and didn't allow people to waste mine, I'd be a hypocrite. Practice what you preach. Okay? Treat people the way you want to be treated. The reflection needs to be the same thing on both sides. If you expect someone, to not waste your time, then you shouldn't waste their time either. That's pretty cut and dry, right? It is, but some people still don't get it. Some people are just selfish and they don't care. They only care about themselves. You gotta stay away from those people too. Most people crack up when their stress levels become unbearable. Right. They don't only crack up, blog author. They blow up like a volcano. They become very emotional, even men. And if you push a man to his boiling point, because typically men, we're not as emotional as women, and, we typically try to suppress our emotions, which is not a good thing, because We feel it's less manly to be emotional, right? That's what the society stigma is, right? Once, the stress level becomes unbearable, we don't just crack up, we explode. And that's not good. You don't want to get that level of exploding. No, 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 no. A breaking point is not an isolated incident, but the culmination of an internal process. Tension and stress often build, I think he meant to say built over time until we have enough. Oh, no, he meant build. The culmination of an internal process, tension and stress often build over time until we have enough. Right. So we tend to tolerate things initially the moment we sense something is going wrong. Like I can sense something going wrong very quickly at this age. I've had so much life experience and I've always been pretty intuitive, but I've learned more and more through my life experiences with women, with business partnerships and other aspects of life to the point of where I can tell almost right away when something seems to be going the opposite way it should be going. Does that mean I immediately eliminate that person out of my life? No, I will give them one or two chances. I will wait to see if it happens a second time. If it happens a second time, I might, tactfully make a funny and, call the person out on it and see if they pick up on that and they change that. If it happens a third time, that's the point of where we're going to have the conversation and say, hey, look, this is not what I signed up for. What's really going on? They might say, what do you mean? Well, here's what you're doing, and here's how you presented yourself to me initially. Are you going through something? Is this not the right time to work with you on this project or date a woman like you or be friends with you? Do you need some space and time away? Would it be better for me to not be a part of your life? You let me know, right? So if you're intuitive to the point of where you can identify these things sooner, the better it's going to be for you because you're going to be able to not overly invest into someone or a group of people to the point of where, you invest so much and things turn and then you explode because now you're so invested into it, right? Even though fatigue builds up, we continue pushing and want to stay the course, right? We do that because, number one, we believe in people and we want to believe in everyone. We want to believe that everyone is in it for the right reasons, but that's not the case in many cases, right? But we also do that because when it happens, like I said a second ago, once or twice, maybe that person's having an off day. Maybe they're going through something and this is not typically who they are. But for me, if it happens a third time, then that creates a pattern. One time could be a bad day, right? Second time, maybe another bad day. The third time, especially if it's in the same week or so, or if it's pretty, every time it's close together, in a short amount of time, that's a pattern. Once you reach 3 in a short amount of time, then you got to talk to that person. We fail to pay attention to the mind that's telling us to stop. For the reasons I just mentioned. Don't have to say them again. Until it is too late. Well, sometimes, we stay in until it is too late because maybe it's something we didn't have a lot of experience with and we really felt that things were going to change. Maybe we had already invested a year into a certain project or in a relationship or whatever. And even though we realized that this is not going to work for us and nothing's ever going to change, you're into it for a year. You're emotionally invested into it for a year, right? It's hard to let go. Trust me, it's been hard for me to let go of things that I've been emotionally invested into for a long period of time. But when you realize it's not the right thing, and no matter, how you try to handle it, even if you handle it the right way, the mature way, if it never changes, you've got to let it go. You got to let it go, and you got to deal with the emotional loss of that investment you put in that person. Work through it, and then move on, or things will never change. You're going to be holding yourself back. Everyone experiences breaking points in distinct ways. Yeah, everyone's different, like I said. No one's the same. That's why you got to get to know, like, and trust people before you invest. You got to see how they are. Some people resist being under pressure and they immediately turn off. Yeah, they can't handle the heat. If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen, right? If you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. You got to have some tolerance if you're going to get ahead in life, because you need people to get ahead. Others ignore the symptoms, letting stress build up until all of a sudden they explode, because these people say we're non-confrontational and we believe in the best in people, and we would just rather just let it play out, even though it doesn't feel right. Well, the moment you realize it's not feeling right, you got to go with your gut instinct and do the right thing for yourself, or you're going to explode. Okay? Many individuals overreact to situations that might feel normal to anyone else. Right. I'm not saying it's normal, for people to put up a front to get you to invest into them, whether it's business or personal, and then they change. I'm not saying that it's normal. I'll more so say it's not the right thing to do. But you can't overreact to something like that, because it's up to you to take the time to get to know, like, and trust someone before you give them a chance. And if you move too quickly and then they fool you, who's more to blame, them or you, for letting them fool you? You got to look at it that way. You got to own up to the risks you take. When you realize, hey, I made a mistake, you walk away and you learn from it and you try to not make the same mistake again. Pretty simple. Most people don't get it, but it's pretty simple. Chronic stress is like hearing a dripping faucet. Blip, 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 blip. According to Deepak Chopra, or whatever it is. First, you notice it, then you get irritated, and finally you can't stand it anymore. Right. Yeah, those leaky faucets, right? The leaky faucets. You try to, get the wrench and fix the leak, and you tighten up the pipes and everything, and it's still leaking, right? That can be irritating. You notice it, you ignore it, then you notice it again later, and you get irritated, and finally can't stand it anymore. Try to fix it. If not, you're like, man, I gotta call a plumber or a handyman and pay them a couple $100 to fix it. Yeah, that's what you do. I mean, I don't let stuff like that bother me anymore. I used to. Some things just happen and you just got to let it go. Do what you can to fix it. If you can't, get someone else to fix it. Suck it up, even if it costs you some money. And then you won't have to deal with it anymore. But don't let it consume you. If you let it consume you, you're going to hold yourself back from other things you can be investing your time on to get ahead in life. By the time you get to stage 3, it's time to fix the drip. Right. I just said that. Perfect. We don't need to go any further. Perfect. Stress affects us one drop at a time until we can't tolerate it any longer. Right. If you let it get to us, if you learn how to handle and manage your stress and learn to understand that people are people, no one's perfect, and people are going to make mistakes. Maybe you're dating someone and maybe they honestly feel they're ready for a relationship. So they invest into you, you invest into them, and a couple months later, they start feeling a different way. And then all of a sudden, they feel they're not ready. Maybe it took being with you to realize they weren't ready, because they were probably thinking they'll never find, that perfect guy in their eyes, which may be you. Nobody's perfect, but maybe you're the perfect person for them. Maybe they realized, maybe they thought that it wasn't going to just feel so right. But now that you're in a great relationship and the woman sees you as the type of guy she's always dreamed of being with, but she really wasn't ready initially, the front she was putting up is no longer gonna be able to sustain itself. So yeah, stress affects us one drop at a time until we can't tolerate it any longer. Your brain is triggered to respond. It releases stress hormones that throw you out of balance. Right. I just don't let the stress get to me anymore. I don't stress out. I mean, maybe sometimes I do, but I don't let the stress consume me like I used to. I used to let things bother me. Like if I was going through something very stressful, I would not be able to get it off my mind. I would stay up late. I had insomnia. I couldn't sleep. It consumed my mind to the point of where I couldn't focus on anything else. It affected my life. I don't let stress affect my life anymore. If I'm dealing with a stressful situation, I'll try to resolve it immediately. If the person's not willing to resolve it, I'll say, hey, look, give me a call when you're ready to figure it out. I'm not going to waste any more time until you're ready to talk reasonably. And if you're never ready to talk reasonably, then let's part ways and move on. There you go. Problem solved, stress gone, right? It might bug you for a day that you had to terminate that relationship or friendship, but at least you're going to be relieved of your stress, right? Okay. Let me see how much longer we have on this. We're almost done. We're getting there. Let me check out the chat here real quick. I fixed the leak with duct tape. Well, that's a temporary fix, Mutt. All right. Is that the redneck version of fixing something? Next thing you know, the pipe explodes. Oh, man. Anyway, let's see here. Deepak Chopra identifies 3 stages that turn the dripping faucet into a make or break situation. Stage 1, you are aware of being under pressure, but still feel centered. Right. You're always going to feel some pressure in life. People are going to put pressure on you. You're going to have competition in many things, right? Just because you have that pressure, as long as you stay centered and focus on your goal, focus on the prize, you're going to be a winner every time. That's all you got to do. Pressure will always be there. It's up to you whether you want to let it get to you or affect you or not. Number 2, stress clouds your judgment. Right. Stress, anxiety, depression, all that stuff, right? It leads to all that. You don't want to allow that to derail you from your progress. And you start to lose control. You never want to lose control. Stay centered. Stay in your center. You have to make a conscious effort not to respond with anger, anxiety, or impatience. How many times have you guys dealt with a woman that, says something so ridiculous, right? Or does something so ridiculous to the point of where you feel like you just want to get in her face and just, give her a piece of your mind, right? And, when I was younger, that's the way I used to handle those situations. As I got older, and I was never violent, don't get me wrong. As I got older, I realized there's no sense in arguing a woman. You're not going to get anywhere. Like I mentioned, every time I talk about women's emotions, if you try to argue a woman on anything, whether she's right or wrong, you're going to lose every time because it's like pouring more gasoline on the fire, right? It's going to make her even more emotional and it's going to make her come at you harder than she already is. How do you diffuse that? You say, hey, if that's how you feel, hey, I'm sorry about that. Maybe she's coming at you. Maybe she's trying to get you to argue her. Maybe she's trying to get you to crack. She's trying to crack your center, your masculine core, right? You as a man, you just sit there and say, hey, I don't know what's wrong, babe. I don't know why you're yelling. Hey, I'd rather have us go out and have a nice dinner and have a couple glasses of wine and come back and snuggle up. But if you want to sit here and yell at me all night, I'm just going to leave and you can yell at yourself. I'm not going to put up with this. You don't put up with stuff like that. You don't deal with it, but you don't attack her. You don't start yelling back at her. You're cool and calm, and you're like, I didn't sign up for this. I don't deserve this. I've done nothing wrong. If I've done something wrong, let me know. And if it's true, then I'll apologize for it. But if not, stop your ridiculous behavior and let's go out and have some fun. If she doesn't react to that the right way, then you just leave. Sometimes you just got to walk away. But you never respond with anger, anxiety, or impatience. The moment you do that, you get thrown off your center and then you're done. Then you might as well throw in the towel, which I would never want you to do that. But at that point, it's like saying you're throwing in the towel. Number 3, you can't cope any longer and you explode and release your tension momentarily, but feel embarrassed and regretful. Yeah, you ever done that? I've done that many times. I've done that on YouTube in the past, and I learned my lesson, right? I went on some live streams and talked a bunch of smack, with a group of Dramasphere people that really weren't trying to offend me. They were just trying to trigger me for entertainment purposes. They intentionally would say things that they knew would trigger me just to get a laugh at my expense, right? And then you look back and you're like, oh, geez. Not only how embarrassing, I've gotten over it. I'm not even embarrassed by it anymore. Maybe a little bit back then, and regretful. I'm like, oh, how in the world did I allow these people to push me to this level? This is not me. And then these people have videos of me doing this that they can keep on putting out there publicly for the rest of my life. Why do that to yourself? You want to step back. You want to think twice, 3 times. If you need a day to think about things before responding, ask the person, hey, give me a day. Because if I respond right now, this is not going to go well. And I'd rather be respectful to you than not. Stress is cumulative. Don't miss the signs. Well, it's cumulative if you don't handle the situation. If something is building tension and stress, it typically means that there's something wrong with someone else and you need to talk with them about it. And you should talk with them about it as soon as possible when you can do it in a cool, calm, and a collective way. If that means, you're stressed out at this moment and you feel like going and wringing that person's neck, then you tell yourself, let me take a day and see how I feel tomorrow after I wake up. Typically, you go to bed that night, you wake up, you feel better, you're ready to approach this person, but now in a more professional and mature way, right? That's how you handle it. How to deal with breaking points. A breaking point is a moment of greatest strain. Absolutely. We've all been there. Interestingly enough, the breaking points are the moments in which we need to stay calmer. Right. We need to stay focused so we don't want the breaking points to break us, right? If you don't want the breaking point to break you, you've got to stay focused and stay calm and stay within your center and handle it maturely. And again, like I keep saying, if you are pushed to the point of where you feel you want to wring someone's neck, that's not the right time to talk with them. Step back. And if they even want to talk with you, like I keep saying, say, hey, I need a day before I can respond to you. Why is that? Because if I respond to you now, it's not going to go well, and I want to give you the respect you deserve. And if they can't understand, you enough to give you that day after how you presented it in the proper way like that, then you let them go. But most people will say, hey, okay, I'll give you a day. Let's talk tomorrow. Give me a call when you're ready to talk. That's it. Research shows that trying to control every event increases our stress. You can't control everything. Sometimes things are going to come up in life. You got to learn how to deal with things on the fly. And as you get older, as you gain experience, you're going to learn how to handle those unforeseen situations. That's what they're called. They're called unforeseen situations. And in life, you get a lot of them all day, every day. So you can't control everything. You just got to let things flow. And eventually you will learn how to handle things, even if they come out of the blue, which in many cases, things just happen out of the blue. When you become more in tune with yourself and become more intuitive, and you can read things better after you gain experience, it'll be a lot easier to accomplish this. Columbia University's George Bonanno coined the term PTE, potentially traumatic event. Ooh, I'm going to have to remember that. PTE, potentially traumatic event. An event is not traumatic unless we experience it as such. Right, it's up to us if we want to make it a traumatic event. We're in control. If someone's trying to come at us with their trauma or drama, it's up to us if we want to respond to it with trauma or drama, right? If we choose to say, hey, look, I want nothing to do with this. I'm out. Don't yell at me. I don't need your drama. Go play with your drama buddies and I'm out. Peace out, right? You can turn an adverse moment into a breaking point or not. One more time. That is key. That's crucial. You can turn an adverse moment into a breaking point or not. Couldn't have said it better myself. It's up to you. You're in control. If you stay centered and you don't let anyone knock you off your center, no matter what they say or do, you will win every time. You will win because you're not going to be exploding and making yourself look bad and giving them the sense that what they were doing is right, even though they were the ones doing the wrong thing initially, right? If you handle it the right way, the right thing will happen. One of two things will happen. The situation will rectify and they'll be understanding, and then, they'll apologize and they'll continue working with you, or you'll part ways. And then you'll find other people that you folks can better work with, or maybe you'll find a better dating partner if this one that you're with doesn't work out, right? If your marriage doesn't work out, you get divorced, you find someone else, and maybe you have a better marriage the second time around. That's it. Always adapt, never react. Fighting what we don't know or can't control is inherently human, right? It is. But we don't have to fight something that's out of our control, because out of our control, sometimes things just happen. You just got to learn to let that stuff go. Learn to say it is what it is. Our brain loves being in charge, sure. And it's tough to fight your brain sometimes, but sometimes you have to. Sometimes you have to. That's why we feel anxious when facing breaking points, right? Because we know what we do next is either going to make or break a friendship, a relationship, a business partnership or whatever. We know when you come to that breaking point, the way you handle that is going to affect something major in your life that either affects your pocketbook, your love life, etc., friendship, family, whatever. We want to be in control of every situation. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Well, we want every situation to be perfect, but there's no such thing as anything being perfect. We can strive for perfection to be the best version of ourselves we can be, but no one's perfect. I don't try to be in control of every situation. I'm just me. I just live my life and take things one day, 1 minute, 1 second at a time. And whatever comes up, I deal with it. Do I plan some things? Sure. Other things just come up and I handle them as they come. That's it. And I focus on things that push me forward and make me feel good. It's bottom line. Do things that propel you forward and feel good. That's it. If it doesn't propel you forward or feel good, then don't do it. Take time to acknowledge your emotions. Right. Even as a guy, take time to acknowledge your emotions. You have emotions too. Take time to acknowledge them. Don't shut down your emotions just because you're a guy and you're told you got to be strong. You can't show any emotion. You can show some emotion at times as a guy. Nothing wrong with that. Just don't overdo it. But don't also go the complete opposite way and never show emotion. You're a human being. You have emotions whether you're a guy or a gal. Are you angry, sad, disappointed? You got to identify that. And if you're feeling that way, until you figure out why, you're not going to be able to turn it around. Identify it, figure out why this is making you feel that way, and then turn it around. So anyway, give me a second here. All right. Self-awareness is critical to pause and reflect. Right. You got to be self-aware. Many people are not self-aware, and that is crucial. When you're self-aware and you're so in tune with yourself, you're going to be able to identify these things and not let them get to you, and you're not going to overreact. You're not going to blow up. I used to blow up all the time when I was younger. You know, my former channel on YouTube, I used to always blow up because I didn't know how to deal with the people out here on the YouTube. And then I learned how to deal with it, and now I'm cool, calm, and collected, just like in my real life. Self-awareness is critical to pause and reflect. Connect with your emotions, but don't react. I wouldn't say don't react. I would say don't overreact. Having a reaction to something is normal. Overreacting is where you're it's going too far. You're exploding. You're getting angry. The reactions are cool. Everyone has reactions. Just don't overreact. Be reasonable. Learn to acknowledge and observe your thoughts rather than through them. That's a great point. Don't let your emotions cloud your vision. And that's very important. Don't let your emotions cloud your vision. Example, if you're in a long-term relationship with a woman for 5 years, you're about to get married, she cheats on you, I would never forgive that. On one hand, you're like, I've invested 5 years of my life, my money, my heart, my soul, everything into this woman. We're supposed to be getting married soon, and she cheated on me. Don't let those 5 years you had with her, because you're emotionally invested, cloud your vision. She cheats, she's out. Yeah, 5 years down the toilet, but do you want to be with someone? Do you want to marry someone that cheated on you after 5 years of being with them, right when you're about to get married? Because you're emotionally invested. Don't let your emotions cloud your vision. That's the best example I could think of right there. I thought it was a pretty good one. Resilience requires practice. Recovering from a breaking point takes time and patience. Resilience is a skill that you develop through time. Yeah, the more experience you have in life, the more you're going to, develop resilience. It's something that takes time. You're not born with it, and you're probably not going to really understand it until your mid to late 20s, maybe even your early 30s. Be patient and willing to put the effort. Yeah. Being patient and putting in the effort. Something that many of our, young folks nowadays, especially the younger guys, don't want to do. They're lazy and they're spoiled and they're entitled. Yeah, don't be lazy. And if you have that level of entitlement, if you feel you have that level of entitlement, like we said with the millennials, you got to get over that, or that's going to affect your life. You got to let that go. You got to let it go. You got to be patient and be willing to put in the effort to accomplish whatever you want to accomplish in life. Remind yourself of similar past situations that you were able to overcome. Right. I've been there, done that. I can do it again. Right. Everything has a beginning, middle, and an end. If you're in a rough spot, you know at some point it's going to end. If you're in a rough spot, okay, here's the beginning of the rough spot. Here's the middle. You know there's going to be an end. So what you do in between is what's going to, make the ending a better ending or worse. Whether you continue, being a part of the other person's life or not. Let me see, where are we at here? Oh, we're almost done. Send the message to the world. When you are against the rope, saving a break point boosts more than your self-confidence. Right. You are saying that you are alive and kicking. I'm happy to just be alive, and so should you. If you're happy to just be alive, whenever something, happens that is out of the ordinary and, just makes you feel like you want to blow up, just think about the fact that you're just happy to be alive. Step back. Let the anger subside, because it's not really as big of a deal as you think it is. Be happy to just be alive. Things happen. Just got to learn to let some things go. Treat your breaking points as a match. Okay? Don't let your opponent win. Stay focused and balanced. What's your message to the world? Right. It's when you're being attacked by somebody, right? If somebody's coming at you and projecting on you and attacking you and calling you names and all that, if you come back at them and you say, hey, man, why are you picking on me, man? I'm going to whoop your you-know-what if you don't stop picking on me. That's not the right way to handle it. Let them come at you. Let them vent at you. You just stand there and say, hey, bro, come on, man. I'm not here to cause any problems. Maybe you're having a bad day, dude. I'd be happy to help you through it. I'm going to take you out to lunch. Come on, man. You don't need to get that angry at me. I care about you. And that might defuse them and make them feel good, and then the day goes on. But if they keep coming at you and you take the nice approach and it doesn't work, then just walk away. Because when you don't feed into them and you're nice to them and they're still coming at you and you walk away, it's going to make them more mad initially, but then they're going to be like, wow, he just walked away. He didn't feed into it. He's a strong guy. I respect that, right? Treat your breaking points as a match, like the blog author says. Don't let your opponent win. Stay focused and balanced. And what's your message to the world? My message to the world is I want to help people get a better grip on their life. I want to help people accomplish whatever it is that their hearts desire. Turn your mind into an alley. Routine, distractions, and busyness deliberate our mind. We feel like living on autopilot. Sometimes we do live on autopilot. For me, I don't have a problem being on autopilot. Now, do I have a problem taking off the autopilot and then, going on manual level? Sure, sometimes you got to go on manual level. But if you set a good routine that works, then putting at least that good routine on autopilot is great. Now, if other things come up, you may have to get out of autopilot and put it in manual mode for a bit, but then you can just switch right back to autopilot once you're done handling the manual situation. Meditation and other mindful practices can turn your mind into your best ally. Right. Meditate, go take a walk, a jog, go running, let those endorphins flow. The best thing to do is take a walk. Take a walk, a bike ride. move around for like an hour or two each day, and I can guarantee you will feel better. You can tell I have a lot of energy tonight. I went to the park, took a walk, recorded another video. I accomplished a lot today. I'm a little tired, sure, but I still feel good, right? I got the endorphins kicking. Practice strengthening your mind. Excuse me, I got an itch. Hopefully that went off camera. Sometimes you get that itch on your nose and it just won't stop. Oh my God. That's a good luck itch. That means something good is coming. Meditation and other mindful practices can turn your mind into your best ally. Practice strengthening your mind. Become familiar with yourself so that you can deal better with unexpected events. Embracing your own vulnerability will make you stronger. You got to be vulnerable. You got to allow people to come into your life so you can get ahead. If you're not vulnerable and you're closed off to other people coming in your life, you're only holding yourself back. That's that. Now, don't let just anyone in, but give people chances. I give everyone a chance. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt until they give me a reason to no longer give them that benefit. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. Utilize social support. You don't need to fight your breaking point alone. True. You can confide in friends, family. If you're married or dating, you can confide in your other partner. Unless it's them that are pushing you to the breaking point, then you got to talk to somebody outside that. But yeah, you don't have to fight your breaking point alone. We are as strong as the strength of our relationships. Who do you trust? Right? Friends, family, your other half, coworker. Who can provide a calm space to help you clear your mind? Very few people I know that can do that for me. There's just a couple of them. I've actually learned to provide myself a calm space on my own. That's what I recommend. Sometimes some alone time by yourself to think things through deeply and calmly is better than even talking to a good close friend you can count on for this. But if you have someone that you can't count on, it's always nice to be able to talk to someone like that. Having a success partner makes it easier to deal with life's challenges, right? Check out this simple exercise to start building yours. Okay, so, and there's Gustavo. He is a change relationship consultant and speaker who helps build a culture of change. He writes at the intersection of self-awareness, creativity, and resilience. And that is it, folks. What to do when you reach a breaking point by Gustavo Rossetti. I'm going to go ahead and now take the link and I'm going to add it to the description section below. So when you go watch the replay, or whoever watches the replay will be able to see that link under source. Let me go ahead and save that. And we're good. Let's switch back to full screen. I fixed the leak with duct tape. Okay, I got that earlier. All right, folks, that's going to do it for tonight. I may be back tomorrow for another stream, or I may just take a streaming day off tomorrow. I'm going to be editing that video I shot earlier today. That should be released either at some point tomorrow or by Friday at the latest. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can comment below in the comments section. You can also go in the description section and email me, Coach Eli at coacheli.com. If there's something I can help you with, folks, you can go to my website, coacheli.com, click on the Coaching Services tab, and pick the package that best works for you, and I'd be happy to help you. With that being said, I want to thank you for being here, Mutt Nuts World. I want to thank you to Firewolf Studios for being here earlier, and thank you to Lewis Fuller and anyone else watching behind the scene. Have yourself a great night, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye. Bye.